Hi, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing a fun little event glam look, I guess you could say. This is a look that I like to do when I, have somewhere to be, but I don't want to do like a simple makeup look. I want it to be a little bit more elevated. So whether that's like a wedding, a baby shower, a photo shoot, I don't know, really anything. If you're in high school, this could be good for like a school dance or prom or something. It's not extremely over the top, but it's also a little bit elevated more than like a daily makeup look. So it's a good in between and it's fairly easy to do. So if you know that you have to do your own makeup for something, this could be a look that you try and that you can achieve at home with the products that you have. You don't need to have like a professional do your makeup. But let's get into it. First thing we're going in with is primer today, and I'm actually using two primers. When I do this makeup look, usually I want my makeup to last for a long time because I know that I'm going to be out doing something, so I definitely use primer before I do this look. You can use whatever primer you think like helps make your makeup last long, or whatever primer is working best for your skin that day. Today I'm going to use two. I'm going to use this Laura Mercier Pure Canvas Primer. This is kind of old, so I think they have different packaging now, but this is the hydrating one. So I'm going to use this and I'm going to apply this all over my face because it's just like a good like all around primer and hydrating on the skin, which I always need because I have super dry skin. And then next up I'm going to be using the Benefit, the Professional Primer, but this is the Hydrate one. So this is a little bit different than the normal one that you're probably used to seeing. But I'm just going to take like a little bit of this, that much. This probably is too much. And I'm just going to apply that like on my T-zone, on my nose, and on my forehead. And then all around my nose, just to kind of like minimize my pores. I feel like the pores on my nose sometimes are crazy. And then I'm putting some on my chin as well, just to kind of help with that. Alright, next up is foundation, and today I'm actually not going to use a foundation. I'm going to use a skin tint. I'm using this one by Fenty Beauty that I always use. Full coverage foundation does not usually pair well with my skin, so if I can avoid it, I usually try to. But for this look, use whatever your favorite foundation is, whatever kind of coverage you want for the day, and whatever you feel like, wears well on your skin for a long time, you can use that. I just preferably like to use a skin tint or something a little bit lighter because I have really dry skin. So I'm going in with this today. So I'm going to just put some on the back of my hand, and then I'm going to put a few dots all over my face. And then with this look, I do want it to be as flawless as possible, so I'm actually going to go in with a brush. This one's by It Cosmetics, and it's just a foundation brush, like a flat, compact foundation brush. So I'm just going to go in with that and blend out the skin tint all over my face. And sometimes with this product, if I do want like a little bit of extra coverage, I'll just go in with like another layer of it, and usually that gives me what I need for this look. But yeah, if I have too full of coverage foundation on, it does not work well. Next up, I'm going in with concealer. I'm actually using two concealers today. Starting off with the Rare Beauty concealer. This one is more full coverage than the other, so that's why I'm going with this one today. And then I do like to pair it with like a little bit of a lighter color concealer, so I'm going in with this one by LA Girl, the LA Girl Pro Conceal. And you don't have to use two concealers. I just do because this Rare Beauty one is a little bit too dark, I feel like. So this kind of brings it together and makes it a match for my skin. But if you have a good concealer that already matches, you definitely don't need two. So I'm going to take my concealer and just put it a little bit on my under eyes, and then on the outer part of my eyes, and then a little bit on my nose, chin, around my mouth, and then whatever excess product I have, I'll probably put a little bit on my forehead as well. And then what I do with the lighter color is I just take a little bit and I put it like over the top of the Rare Beauty concealer, kind of like that. And then to blend that out, I'm going to go in with a brush first. I'm going to use this like flat concealer brush. I think this is from Sephora. This is like a really old brush, but that's what it looks like. So I'm going to start blending it out with the brush, and then I'm going to go in with a sponge just to kind of like finish it off. I feel like with a brush, you just get like a smoother finish, and it's easier to get in those little like areas of your eye that you can't get with a sponge. So it's just more precise, and you can kind of outline where you want the product, and then use the sponge to like really get in and blend it out. And then the rest of the concealer around my face, I'm just going to use a sponge for that. I'm not going to use the brush. So now I'm going to take my sponge and just finish blending out the eyes. And I'm going to take like some of the leftover product and just kind of pat that on my eyelid to kind of like prime my eyelid for the eyeshadow that I'm going to put on later. Next is cream bronzer. So I'm going in with the Rare Beauty one today. This is in the shade Bright Side. So I'm just going to take that and then put it all over my face where I want to kind of contour. I'm not putting any really on my eyelid today, just kind of on the outside to give my eyes more of that like snatch lifted effect, but I'm not actually going to be blending it into my eyelids today because I'm going to be doing a full eyeshadow look. And then my nose. And then I do want just like a tiny bit on my chin, just to make everything look as snatched as possible. And to blend that out, I'm using my normal cream bronzer brush. I'm just going to go in and start blending that into my cheeks and all around my face. And I'm going to do the other side. My eye, I'm just like lightly buffing that out all around, kind of like my temple area. And then, yeah, just blending out my forehead and my cheek. Kind of bringing that all together. And then I'm going to go in with a different brush to do my nose contour. And the brush that I'm using today to do my nose contour is my dual-ended brush by Tarte. And I'm taking this fluffy angled side, and I'm just going to go in and start blending that out. And I am going to kind of take this contour and bring it up in the inner corner of my eye, just so that it blends in with my eyeshadow. Otherwise, I don't know, I just feel like it can look weird, and there can be kind of like a line between this area and then your nose. So just to make it more seamless, this is what I like to do. It's nothing major, but it does kind of make a difference, so I always like to add that in. Now for blush, I'm going to go in with this Makeup by Mario blush, and this is in the shade Earthy Pink. This is what it looks like. Kind of like a dark pink color. And how I like to apply this is by taking my blush brush and then dipping it into the product and then putting it on my cheeks. This stuff is pretty pigmented, so you do have to be kind of careful. And then I do want to draw that up towards my temples and just diffuse the product all over as much as possible. And then I do want to take a little bit and put it right on my nose. Okay, now I'm going to go in with just a little bit of powder. Like I've said before, my face does not really do well with powder. So I am just going to use a little bit to kind of set like under my eyes and my T-zone, but I'm using very minimal powder. And the powder that I'm using today is this one by Milk Makeup. Like I said, I don't even know if they make this anymore. I've had this forever. I barely ever use powder, so this has lasted me like a lifetime. But I'm just going to go in with a little bit of that on one of these little puffs. And this is about how much I'm going to use for my whole face. So I'm going to do that under my eyes and then a little bit on my T-zone and around my mouth. And I'm not going to dip back in. I'm just going to use the leftover and put it around my mouth and a little bit on my nose and forehead. And that's literally it for powder. That's all I'm using. If you like to set your face, definitely go in with as much powder as you need, but for me, I only need a little bit because my face is so dry already. Now just to make my skin a little bit more bronzy, I'm going to go in with this skin enhancer from Makeup by Mario. This is in the shade Light Medium. This is one of my all-time favorite products. I'm using the same brush that I use for the bronzer. But I'm just going to go in and lightly tap that everywhere basically that I put the cream bronzer. And it just kind of brings like a little bit of extra color to your face, but so flawlessly. Now onto eyes. For this look, I'm going to be doing a brown base, and then I'm going to take a pop of rose gold, like shimmery eyeshadow, and then put that all over my lid. For this eye look, you can do whatever you want. You don't have to use rose gold. You could use gold, silver, any color shimmer that you want. Whatever like the look that you're going for, the colors that you're using for your look, just match that with the eyeshadow colors that you're using. I prefer a neutral eye. I like to use warm neutral tones usually for my eye look, so that's what I'm going to be using today. And I'm going to be going in with the Makeup by Mario Master Mattes palette. And this is what it looks like. So I'm going to be taking this brown color right here, and I'm going to use that as my first shade and just kind of put that all over my eye. I'm focusing it most on the crease and then the eyelid, but this is like kind of my base color to start it all off. And the eyeshadow brush that I'm going in with is this one right here. It's just like a very normal eyeshadow brush, kind of fluffy, but that's what it looks like. So I'm going to take my brush, dip into my brown shade, and then just start working that all over like the crease of my eye. And then I am going to kind of take the product and work it out towards my temple just to give my face more of that like lifted look. So I'm just going to kind of work that out as I work it all over my eye. And then I like to do one step on one eye and then that same step on the other. I don't do one eye and then finish the other. I know some people do it like that. They complete one eye and then match it on the other side. But for some reason, I don't like doing that. I feel like I can't make them look the same and then I just get really frustrated. So I do one eye, one step, and then do the same step on the other eye right away. So they are completed at the same time. Next up, I'm going to be taking a little bit of a darker brown. I'm going to use this color right here. And I'm going to kind of work that on the outer crease and like outer lash line and work that up as well in the same area that I was the last color, but I'm not going to be putting it necessarily all over my eye. So I'm just going to dip into that and then really focus it right here and on my like lash line, on the outer portion of the lash line. I don't go all the way to the end, just the outer, and then I'm just going to drag that up and blend it in with that other color that's going up towards my temple. And now I'm going to do the exact same thing on the other side. Last color that I'm going in with on this palette, I'm actually going to take two. I'm going to take this brown and then kind of mix those together. And what I'm going to do is focus that right here on this like outer lash line and then kind of work it up a little bit to where the rest of this eyeshadow is, just for it to kind of give like an eyeliner effect almost. So it's not going to be nearly as precise as eyeliner, but it'll give that like contrast of like the darkest color being right there where you normally would put eyeliner, and then working it out like a wing would go. So I'm going to take that and just gently work that right here and bring it out in that upwards direction. And it is supposed to give like a very smoky look, so if you don't like it to be that dark, I would suggest using a lighter shade. Obviously you have to use a dark shade to get that look, but don't use the darkest color that you have, because the darker you go, the more smoky it will look. So that's why I mixed two colors, because I don't want it to look super smoky. So I mixed a dark brown with like a little bit of a lighter brown, just so it's not as harsh. And now for the other side, exactly the same thing. Just lightly sweeping that color along the lash line and then up towards my temple. Next step, before I add the shimmer, I'm actually going to take like a bigger eyeshadow brush, one that's kind of fluffy, and I'm going to just kind of run that all over my eye to kind of blend everything together a little bit better. Just one last like sweep to blend all the eyeshadow in. So now for the shimmer, I'm actually not using an eyeshadow technically. I'm using a highlighter, but honestly it works for both, and this is my favorite like rose gold color that I have, so I love using it for eyeshadow. Honestly, I use it for eyeshadow more than I use it for highlighter just because it's so perfect and I think it looks great with eye looks. And you know, makeup is meant to be versatile, so you don't, just because something says eyeshadow or just because it says highlighter doesn't mean you can't use it for something else. So I'm going in with this palette today. It's by Pure. It's the Fairy Lights palette. I honestly don't even know if they make this anymore. I've had this for a while, but the color that I'm using is this one right here. Just like a really pretty like rose gold color, and I honestly love it so much. So what I'm going to do is take this brush now. This is the one I like to use for shimmers. So I'm going to take this and I'm actually going to spray it a little bit with just this e.l.f. hydrating mist that I have. So I'm going to spray my brush, and this will just help with color payoff and pigment on the highlighter. Since the highlighter is not technically an eyeshadow, I feel like it doesn't show up as good as some shimmer eyeshadows do, but if you wet your brush or use your finger, it really helps a lot. So I'm going to dip into that, and then I'm going to take this and start packing it on in the middle of my eyelid, and then just kind of blend it out on the sides just a little bit, but I want to mainly focus it here on the middle of my eyelid, so that's the part that pops. But I do kind of bring it in the inner corner and then on the outer part as well. Same thing on the other side, really focusing it here in the middle of my eyelid, and it's kind of buffing it out on the sides. Alright, this is about how much I do for the shimmer, and then I go in with this fluffy brush one more time and just kind of blend it all together one last time just to make it look as seamless and flawless as possible. And then I do kind of just bring the shimmer out a little bit where all the other eyeshadow is. It just kind of blends it a little better, but I don't want glitter all over my face, so I don't really concentrate it in that area. But yeah, just one last sweep to blend everything together, and then I'm going to go in with some eyeshadow on my lower lash line next. For the lower lash line, we're going to keep it pretty simple. I'm going in with that original brush that I was using, and I'm going to just take this light brown shade that I used at the beginning and then run that along my lower lash line. Focusing it more on the outer, but I do bring it in a little bit just to kind of blend it all together. And I also forgot to mention, I do like to put a little bit on the inner corner of my eye and kind of focus it right there, just to make that area really pop. Now to finish off the eye look, I'm going to go in with mascara, curl my eyelashes first. This eye look would look really pretty with fake lashes or even like a half lash. I personally just don't want to do that today. I haven't really been in my fake lash era. I've really been loving just using my natural lashes with mascara. So that's what I'm going to do today, but if you like wearing fake lashes or you're in the mood to wear fake lashes, they definitely would look so cute with this eye look. But I'm just going to take the mascara that I normally use, the e.l.f. Lash and Roll, and then curl my lashes first. So I'm going to put that on and then also add some bottom mascara as well. And last up for today, we have lips. I'm going to be using one of my favorite lipsticks by MAC. This is the shade Yash. This is what it looks like. It's just like a nude. Same color that I usually wear. All my lipsticks I feel like are the same. The same but different. And then I'm going in with this NYX Suede Matte Lip Liner. This one is in the shade London, and then that's what it looks like. It's just kind of like a darker, like nude brown color. It's a little bit darker than the lipstick, so it adds kind of that contrast. But I'm going to go in the lip liner first. And then I'll just top it off with my lipstick. And that completes the look. This little glam moment that I love doing for any event that I have to go to that, you know, it's not really casual, but maybe more fancy than what you usually do. Just know that you don't need to hire a professional makeup artist. You can do exactly what you need to do at home just by adding like a pop of color to the eye, maybe a bold lip, taking a little bit of extra time with your base makeup, maybe adding a step or two that you wouldn't normally do can really elevate your makeup, and you can achieve it with all your own products that you have at home. So that's why I love this look. It's perfect for any event. You can change like the color of the eyes, the color of the shimmer, the color of the lip to match whatever you're wearing, and it's really just an all-around great look for any event that you might have. So thank you so much for watching. Bye!